back. We're here. Oh, and Kellen made it too. Welcome, everybody.
This is a show without a topic.
Yeah. Well, we got, oh, don't even get started. You'll get
Oh, sorry, I missed something.
You make it. Anyways, welcome to the show. We do. we do have a topic, and Scott, if you want to take it away there.
Yeah, well, first of all, welcome everybody to the show, Lynn, Scott, and friends, as we all see it. And again, this is a great gathering of people. We're from all parts of the country and even out of the country sometimes, and we all get together and just kind of share our thoughts and feelings on any topics. Please reach out on the Facebook page and ask if you have a topic you want us to cover. If you got something you'd like us to talk about or questions that you want to ask any of us, please reach out and do that, because we'd love to share with people. And we just enjoy all getting together and doing this. What we want to talk about tonight, and I was a little short on getting things together because I was really, really busy the last few days. And one of the things I actually sat and thought about right before the show started was, as busy as I was, I don't feel like I was working. I feel like I was just busy. There's a difference. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between feeling like you're overwhelmed and working and stuff, and then that feeling of I'm just doing what I love to do. And it's such a blessing. So we came up with love what you do and do what you love. And if you find that, I mean, what do we always tell our kids when our kids are little? We're always telling them, whatever you want to be, just be happy and find something that makes you happy. And then as we become adults, we take that away from ourselves. We decide, well, I can't be happy. I've got to be busy. I've got to do business. I got to do that. And there's a happy place for everybody. Figure out what it is before it's too late. My man, Jimmy Buffett, just passed away over this past weekend. God bless him. There's a man who did what he loved every day of his life. He would leave a concert where he packed a stadium full of people, and he would land in the Keys, and he and his band would get off the airplane, go across town to this little bar with maybe 30 people in it, and they pull out their instruments and they'd sit around and play, and they would sing with everybody, and because they loved what they did. And life is too short to sit around waiting for something good to happen. Go do what you love, and good things will happen for you every day. It might be a little Pollyanna, a little bit too much happy sunshine bullshit. But you know what? That's what I have to live for me. I lived my life, most of my life, wishing I was somebody else, wishing I was doing something else, and thinking that I was never going to be good enough. And now I am blessed. Every day I get up and get to go out and do something that I love to do, which is help other people, play music, do art. I'm a happy guy. I want everybody else to be happy too. So let's talk about do what you love and love what you do and what it means to you.
And I want to interrupt real quick because there's a DVD out and Rex mentioned it. And I just have to say that Mr. Rex was in the massacre at the Central High back in the day. And there is a DVD out on Amazon. Go find it and go support it, because Rex can tell you that. Go ahead, Rex. We were talking about real quick beforehand.
What do you want me to say?
Well, from the release of the Blu-ray,
they re-released it on Blu-ray, and there's bangs and whistles. There's interviews with cast and crew and different things that have been added to the movie. This was one of Roger Ebert's favorite movies. It was one of New York Times top 10, top 20 films back in the day. It's it's a boutique film, but it had an interesting message that people resonated with. None of us thought that was true when we were making it, but Ebert was raving about it for a long time, and so it's an interesting film. Lots of people love it. Some people don't, but
this is Rex.
Rex? Was that your first big project? Because you look pretty young there.
I was probably 20. I mean, I don't remember exactly. Yeah, maybe 20, maybe even 21. I might have been. I was old enough to drink in Los Angeles, that's for sure. Hey, right there. Andrew Stevens, who is in the forefront. Bobby Carradine's on the left. Damon Douglas is standing behind Andrew. Andrew's got his arm on his neck. Andrew Stevens crushed my nose accidentally 5 minutes before we shot the scene.
Wow.
He cocoa butted me in the head.
Oh.
And broke my nose and required massive surgery, frankly.
Oh,
but
wow.
I mean, we shot this 5 minutes later.
There's a girl from 8 is Enough right there on the right hand side.
That's Rainbow Smith is the blonde. Lonnie Grady is the from Eight Is Enough. Dennis Quartz, who I think has gone on to teach. Bobby. Then there's me, the Bobby Carradine. Tom Logan, who's done a lot of directing, and then that's Jeffrey Winter, who's acting in Los Angeles, does a lot of plays and a lot of theater now.
So yeah, so you guys go check that out on Blu-ray. It's on Amazon. So, anyways, but again, that brings
very kind of you.
Yeah, well, that brings to the fact that the topic as far as love what you do. And
okay, so I'm going to tell you one thing. The name is Massacre Central High. It's a lot tamer than the name would make it appear, but there's nudity in it. If you like some naked girls, there's nudity in it.
No.
Wait. Are you nude? Are you nude?
No, I said I managed to scare everybody. That's yeah.
Good. We're safe. All right.
Our eyes are safe. No.
Who said they were safe?
Our
Oh, thank God. The Exorcist. The power of
Well, I mean, you're right, Lynn. This brings us to the point. You're 20 years old. You're making a film like that, working with people like Robert Carradine, who comes from royalty. If you think about Hollywood royalty,
indeed.
But
Bobby
there had to. I mean, did you know at that point that was the life that you wanted to live and how you wanted to be?
Oh, I wanted to act since I was about 4 years old. I wanted to be in the movies, and I couldn't understand why my parents just didn't drop everything and put me in the movies, or get me there.
Bastards.
Yeah, those ass. But later I figured it out. I was like, oh, they had their own lives, and when I kept saying, hey, let's do this, and they'd go, well, but yeah, I mean, it was, and I still am. I'm still living the dream in that regard. Not as frequently today because I'm more in the Midwest than I have been since, LA since COVID. But I still act, I still produce, and I love it. I mean, it's a huge part of me.
And you have friendships that have lasted you a lifetime now, too.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, the people I've met or the people I've got to hang out with or the people I've learned from or mentored. But let me say that there are some people who you would not think would be the coolest people, and they are. And there's some people who you would think would be the coolest people, and they are not.
Right.
So, I mean, that's the one cool thing about Hollywood is you get to find out who the really good people are and who the not so good people are. And there's Lynn. And
there's the cool person right there.
Oh, there we go.
Just verifying that one.
Can you even, Rex, imagine living a life where you were doing something you didn't like doing? Could you even imagine that?
No. I mean, I really can't because I have always done only what I have wanted to do. And that hasn't always been easy necessarily. I mean, it's sometimes some people might say it came at a cost. It didn't cost me anything. When it came to raising my children, I just said, "Oh, I'm going to spend time with my kids. I'm going to be a dad. I'm not going to do the thing that a lot of people do where they work their whole life and then they go, I wish I had spent more time with my kids. I like to heck with everything. I put a lot of stuff on the back burner, or I went, private and behind. I stepped out of the public eye and did a lot of back corporate stuff. Sounds like backroom, gambling, but no. but
like dark web stuff.
Yeah. Dark web stuff. No, but I mean, I was completely devoted to raising my children. I didn't care, and so I did what I wanted to do. And people go, well, why aren't you doing this or that? I go, because I'm doing what I want to do. And so my life, I look at as being blessed. Not everybody can do that, or not everybody has done that. So I don't mean to put myself out as anything other than to say I've been really fortunate, really blessed, and really. But I'm also extremely stubborn, and there are lines that I will not cross. I think I like to think I have a lot of integrity, and so there's things that I will not do and cross. And so,
thank you for opening this up. You started the great segue to this whole topic. So, thank you as always, Rex. I love you so much. You're the best.
Well, you're so welcome. And now we'll all have a Massacre Central High party when this is done tonight.
Oh, that'll be cool. I ain't getting naked. I am not getting naked.
It really was a good movie.
As they were that I didn't.
Mr. Horton.
Yes, well, I'm glad Rex has the line that he didn't cross of being nude, because I was not going to watch that movie until I just heard that sentence. So.
Well, I'm a whole lot happier than if you'd said, if I heard Rex was nude, I'm diving in.
You know what? That's up here, brother. That's up here. It's not coming out here. No, you know what? Private thoughts, my man. You know what? I agree. Obviously, in the mortgage business, in the sales business, I don't care whether you're selling cars, you got to get something to get you up in the morning. You got to get something. You know, your first 5 seconds before you fall asleep, you say, I'm going to have a good day. Your first 5 seconds before you get out of bed, I'm having a good day. Your subconscious, and I know I keep saying this, but I've been doing it. My team does it. To get up and hate going to work. It takes me 90 minutes to go 15 miles in Chicago traffic. But when you're there, you know it's going to be a good day. Imagine sitting, and I look at people all the time when I'm driving to work, and some of them look like they're going to kill someone, man. Some of them may have. I have no idea. But to know you're going to get to that point where you love your job, you love what you do, you just want to help people. I think the end game is if you're in a position or a job where the end solution is you made a family happy or you've helped someone, it makes you feel good. You know what? Punching clocks and doing all that other stuff, end of the day, what did you get from it? Nothing. Granted, you get a commission job, you're out, you're working, but when you get notes from parents that just had a baby, that are in their first house, that do have their first car, whatever that is, man, you feel good about yourself and you drive to do it again. It's all about making yourself happy, but honestly, it's about making other people happy because it all comes back to you.
John, I love what you say all the time because it comes from your heart and it can never be oversaid. So really appreciate that. Love you.
Thanks, babe.
Mr. Barry.
Barry!
Excuse me, my voice cracks up, breaks a little bit. I've been just getting over COVID for the second time. So,
how are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm doing fine. But you didn't ask before the show started, so we didn't get showed then, so we're showing it now. I'm doing okay. Hopefully testing negative tomorrow. Fingers crossed. I'm getting better and better and better.
Goodness.
And as the last time, it was a graceful experience. I didn't go through the trauma other people went through, so I'm not going to compare myself to sufferers. But even this time, so I'm okay. Anyway, back to the story. The thing about
okay.
If you want to do that, you can, Scott, but I haven't yet found a way to transmit it over the airwaves. Frankly, I have no desire to either, frankly. That's one good thing. It's one thing I think about with COVID. Even though I can't necessarily socialize, I can definitely virtualize. So I've had quite a few connections. The thing about love what you do and know what you love, most people don't know what that is at the beginning of life. You know, unlike Rex, we may have dreams, we don't necessarily materialize those early on. I mean, as a kid, I was thinking I was going to be a race car driver or astronaut or something dramatic, which isn't what happened. But the thing is, what happened for me is I noticed that I did what was in front of me, not knowing there was an option to choose something different. So every job, and in fact, I've had 7 careers. Each step was just the next step. And so I went from computer programming. And the thing is, I'll say this along the way, I had these different jobs that happened step by step by step. But what was happening behind the scenes, what was happening secondarily to that, was what was going on. So those jobs I was doing to pay the bills, to be what was in front of me, what was next, you know, computer programming got me to 3 different countries apart from my own country, got me to the United States. That led me to a bunch of different teachings and trainings and learning to be better at being who I was. I never would have discovered if I stayed in the country I came from. So the vehicle of work got me to where I needed to go, like driving the car where I needed to go. And so I'm grateful for that. Along the way, I started picking up the pieces, the keys, the steps, the pieces of the puzzle that gave me who I am now. And what I do now, I actually passionately love. It was the thing I'll do till I die. That's the thing I know about. So let me get back to the middle for a second. I look back and see how the dots were joined along the way. So I didn't declare I knew I was going to love what I was doing to get where I was going. But I really got clear about 16 years ago, that I'm now clearly unemployable. Because working for somebody else, absolutely, because working for somebody else is not where I'm enjoying my joy and my love. Yeah. But to serve and inspire, kind of what John was saying, but a very different avenue for myself. What I do in my life, in my work, which people know as my relationship work, absolutely making other people's lives better, helping people feel more happy about themselves, feeling more in love with who they are and having great relationships. That fulfills me. And yes, if I didn't need the money, I'd do it for free. You know? Right. But the truth is, it's what I love to be doing that I love getting paid to do. So yes, I love what I do and I do what I love. But the road to get there took a while.
I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people, I didn't want people thinking like, Rex is a pretty good story. I wanted to be an actor, and I got to be that. And my story took me through addiction and different things. But most of the time, it's you still got to do what you got to do in front of you, but keep your eyes open and look for new ways, and always look for ways to better yourself and be happier for yourself, right? So it could be a long process for some people.
It was quite a long process, certainly for myself. But the thing I'll say about it, though, is that as much as I wasn't necessarily in charge of the path, I knew something was, because I know, looking back, there was a certain grace to the journey, a certain like nudging along the way that got me where I am now. I wasn't like struggling, fighting, trying to get places. I was doing what was in front of me. And the thing was that gifts keep showing up. So I'm definitely grateful for everything along the way, because what I'm doing now is because everything came before. So like you were saying about going through the addiction to do what you do now, none of that is bad necessarily, because we're using it for good. Who we are now is celebrating that. So it's awesome stuff.
Cool beans, man.
If I can correct the record just for a second, I did what I wanted to do, but that came at a lot of cost.
Yeah.
A lot of the apple cart got upset many different times.
Sure.
So my point is not to say, oh, poor Rex, you suffered too. But it is to say that if however you get to wherever you get to do what you want to do, whether that's difficult or not, whether it's, some people have an easy path, some people have a horribly difficult path. The key, I think, is that your true calling is within you, and all of the experiences around you, good or bad, are designed to get you to that point where you recognize your authentic self, where you realize who you are and what your calling is. By calling, I don't mean it comes from outside of you, it comes from within you. But desire is an important part of life, and it's what moves us forward, and it helps us to improve the world. So some people walk on broken glass and nails and fire and and I don't mean that as a workshop thing. I mean, in real life, they go through terrible, terrible things in order to find out who they really are and what they offer the world. And so if your path was through addiction and everything else, what an incredible blessing, because all of that is what makes you as effective and relevant and positive and powerful today, and you may not have been had not gone through any of it. So it's always forever a gift.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rex.
True.
Awesome. Sandy, can you talk now?
I can. Yeah, I'm doing one of my favorite things I like to do, which is these guys. I'm dog sitting. And the dachshunds decided that they were going to have a little fight, right? They're like kids. As soon as you get onto the phone, they just started like barking. So I get to do this because I work remote. So I get to go to people's houses and watch their dogs or their pets or their cats. I'm going to Baton Rouge in a couple months. I mean, I get to travel and do this, which is kind of cool. But also while doing 3 other jobs. Oh, there we go. So I get to take care of other people's pets. I don't have my own, so I get to love on other people's animals. So I do love to do that. Now, is it the most lucrative profession I've ever had? Absolutely no. It doesn't pay, like my other professions. I've been lucky to have 3 different professions in my lifetime so far, at the top of the ladder, and things that I enjoyed. And then I moved on. Exactly what you said, Rex. It's like it's added to who I am. As each one came and went, I evolved into the next level of something else. And really funny right now, my positions, my profession is not at the top of the ladder of anything. I'm actually at the bottom, which is awesome, actually, because I actually get to enjoy my life. Like, I had professions that I worked so hard that I didn't have a life. I mean, that's all I did. And so it makes me value this right now. So I'm really fortunate. I mean, I was a practice manager in healthcare for 30 years. I was a pastor. I was an Irish dance teacher. So I've gotten to do 3 lovely.
Yeah, I'm glad you shared that, because I wanted you to share that. So yeah.
There were 3 different professions that I reached the top, and then I went, okay, and now here I am at the bottom rung of all these other things. I'm doing but coaching right now is my favorite thing to do, but it's on my own. I'm self-employed and dog sitting, self-employed. And then I do work for our family business doing fire investigation. So again, it's not where I imagined myself to be at 55, but I have evolved to this happy place of who I am versus being at the top of like, oh yes, I'm a blah, blah, blah. And I drive a blah, blah, blah. And I have all the designer clothes. Like that doesn't matter to me now. Like I thought it did in my 20s, 30s, 40s. I'm trying to aspire to something. And now I look at it and I go, I've reached what I've aspired to, which is happiness and peace in my heart and in my time and enjoying my friends and my family. So anyway,
I want to tell you that you just gave me a whole idea about a new career. I would love to be a dog sitter. I think that just is absolutely amazing. But why not be a high-end dog sitter and travel the world?
John was just talking about this. Yes.
You know what, Rex? I got to tell you, it's funny you said that. My sister retired from the corporate world. I'll make this real quick. And apparently there's a website, and she was in wherever, and she wanted to go to Switzerland. So you get on this website, and you're like, I'm going to be in Switzerland from September 9th to the 12th. Who needs me to watch? And she sent me a picture. She's watching goddamn cats. You don't need to watch cats. So she's in Switzerland. And then she ended up in Dublin. And then now on her TikTok page, I think it's Annie, the International Pet Sitter. And she
wow.
My nephew got married in San Diego. She wanted to spend the next week in San Diego. She got on this website, said, I'm going to be in San Diego from August 6th till August 17th. Who needs a sitter? She got booked for 14 days, sitting her ass on a beach, watching a freaking chihuahua and living the absolute life.
Yeah.
There's no jealousy here, Rex. There's no jealousy.
No. I think it's amazing. I just think it's absolutely amazing. I'm going to start doing this tomorrow.
What are your babies going to think?
Hang on. Go ahead, Barry. Barry, go ahead. What was it?
There are actually two websites. I've got them listed somewhere. I'll find them. I'll post them in the private group. That you can actually register at the groups, and they have international house sitting and pet sitting, including like chateaus and villas and stuff all over the world. If you want to go there, you just got to get yourself there. You're not being paid to fly, but you can travel, like St. John. You can definitely visit all these places and just have vacations that cost you nothing.
Great, great. Another website that takes away all the skills of me and my friends of breaking and entering.
The problem would be is that you kind of have to do it solo. I mean, I have to say that the only drawback is that you have to do it. You can't bring along someone else. You're not going to have a big time. You're going to have a big time with your chihuahua, but you're not going to have a big time with a partner or whatever.
Well, you stay in the house and they stay at some shack, and then you meet.
There you go.
I guess you can do
Sandy, I appreciate you sharing your story about different levels. You were happy doing different things too.
Yeah.
And when sometimes it doesn't have to be one happiness for your life. That can change and morph too. It doesn't mean I finally found the perfect thing. It could be I found 7 perfect things and I did all of them, and it doesn't matter. I think I was an Irish dancer too. At least I danced drunk, so I'm not sure if that's the same thing. Hey, Paul, what's going on, brother?
Oh, you're muted. There
Not anymore.
How are you?
Yeah. Oh, well, I love listening to everyone's stories, and I said, Sandy, find a way to do all those things you like to do at the same time and be unique.
Yep.
And really, you could travel with 2, as long as you provide a service for the second person that people have to have. And as far as cats, I cat sat for about a month, and you know what my job was? To do everything in my power to make sure that cat didn't miss its owner.
Yeah.
And if you know cats, well. Anyway, the thing that this topic, the only thing I'll add is this. My favorite story so far is the one that's called The Wisdom of the Sands. And I won't tell it here, but basically it's about the idea of a stream that tries to cross the desert, and until it remembers it's really water, it can't find its way across. And in my own life, there have been times where other people have given me titles and told me what I was going to be good at. But like Rex, I've only done what I like to do. Always. And as I got older, those titles and those categories kind of dropped away, and I got deeper in touch with my essence. See, in the world of branding, advertising, and all that, it chews you up and spits you out at a young age. You're considered old at 40. But the reason I haven't had that problem is because I've stayed in touch with my essence. My essence is not limited by time or style or whatever's going on in culture. It's that endless curiosity that I've always had that lets me continue to grow and become. It's like there's so many people get to a certain point, they stop listening to new music. They whine about what the kids listen to, and they only talk about the old, good old days. I love the good old days. I love the new stuff too. I just keep going. And that has allowed me to take that, well, the love what you do what you love. It's the other way around, actually. If you do what you love, or when you do what you love, you will love what you do.
You love what you do, yeah.
Because there are people, like Rex talked about, and other people talked about, where they don't know what they want, and they go out in the world and look for something that stimulates them. And that's fine. And then there are people who kind of know who they are, and they believe they can't express that. And I've always known who I was, and people told me, part of that essence thing, I'm like a drop of water that keeps finding the ocean. When I was in school, I was the best writer, I was the best artist, I was the best everything. And then eventually you get into the world of thank you, internet, and you discover there are millions of people who are just as good as you are, or better in other ways. And that's, like I said, my water drop found the ocean.
Love it. Love it. Thank you for sharing that. Miss Kellen, last but not least, by no means.
Wait, I was last?
No, by no means. I got my workbook right here.
I can so speak to this topic because I had a job for 17 years that I hated every day. I dreaded waking up. I was the best at it. I mean, I was a top salesperson. I was a commercial real estate broker and hated every minute of it. I had made a deathbed promise to my father-in-law, who I loved more than anything. He begged me to take over the business, and I hated like residential real estate. So I went into commercial because I didn't have to deal with as many whiny women. Sorry, not sorry. But I just did it, and I hated it. And then COVID, Lynn, you know this, I reinvented myself. I took advantage of the time of COVID, and I sat like in my, not here in my closet back at my old house. And for days thinking, what do I do? What did I do? What was the common denominator? Because I had different jobs that, I didn't love any of them, but I was successful at all of them. And I said, what was the one thing that I did that was consistent with each of these, positions that I had? And then it went ding, ding, and I created a gratitude strategy business. And I have never been happier. Oh my God. I've spoken over in England. I'm speaking in California. I didn't even know I was a speaker. And it's funny when you put your heart and your soul, and you forget about the money part, you forget about what expectations of other people are, and you just concentrate on what fulfills you, it all comes, it all comes just naturally. And I wish I hadn't waited so long to do this.
But the timing was perfect for you, Kellen. I mean, daughter went to college and your mom passed away, and it's your time to shine, my friend. You're beautiful.
So I've taken labels away from everything, because I worked downtown San Francisco. That was my territory. And I worked in a corporate environment. I've worked at a local Hodunk newspaper. And I stopped putting labels on everything, because the thing that changed my mind was quality of life, that balance that we all strive for, quality of life, work, make sure that one isn't heavier than the other. And by just doing what my intuition told me to do, I have it all. I have quality, I have balance, I'm making money, and I'm helping a ton of people, which makes my heart just.
And Kellen, and not even Kellen puts herself in the closet no more.
Not anymore. I'm out. I have a real live office now.
Because she did. She put herself in the closet.
Those don't know me. I had a house that was so small in Moraga, which is just near San Francisco.
No jokes.
That I literally had my desk. The closet was almost bigger than my room, and I had my desk in the closet, and I had one of the AnyVoo screens behind me. And the first live show I did, I literally fell back on my chair and knocked over the AnyVoo screen, and my feet were up in the air, and I almost got a concussion.
Oh no!
That was my most viewed show.
And you asked her what you do. She said, "I love what I do." So there you go.
I'm like, I'm okay. Give me a second. Oh, you can see where my feet. But you gotta have fun, right? And I wouldn't change. I wouldn't. And right now, I wouldn't change anything. So thank you.
I love you, Kelly. And it's a true story.
More from now.
True story.
So I want to say something and then kind of toss it to Barry, because in terms of relationships, when people fall in love and they're excited about it and they're enthused and they go, oh my gosh, I met my soulmate, or whatever they say, and they're delighted. They talk about, like, I feel like I'm walking on air, or they can't eat because they're so things seem to go really well in those regards. Every day it's brighter and more fun and more. Well, if you are in love with doing something, anything, it doesn't matter what it is. There are people who love to make money. There are people who love to entertain. There are people who love to be accountants. There are people who love to be nurses or doctors who take care of people. There are people who love to do landscaping. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. But if you genuinely love and are enthused by it, you vibrate at a different level. Your everything about you exudes something that attracts the right people in the right circumstances and the right situations and the right opportunities, because you're walking on air. You're living the dream kind of thing. Whereas a lot of people try and pick a job,
bless you,
or they're forced to be in a job, and they don't like it, and they resent it, or they resent the people around them, or they're always looking for injury, or they're always looking for something, an excuse, a blame, a whine, a complaint, and so they don't get the opportunity or the money or the so it's almost like we've talked about before. If you've got to go on a trip and you're going to get to your destination, how you get to that destination is far more important than actually getting to the destination. But it's a vibratory thing. It's an energy thing. It's a law of attraction thing. I mean, it's all sorts of stuff. And so I toss it to Barry because, in terms of when people connect and find, love, I mean, they tend to do amazing things.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to follow that, huh?
and Eric says, speak on it, Rex. Speak it.
So I'll speak on it now. The thing about relationships is interesting because we do tend to oftentimes idealize what we're looking for, or idealize a person when we meet them and not see them as they really are. And then you go through all the rock and roll and experience of a relationship after that. But I want to bring it back out for a second, because what I was hearing what you said, and when I was thinking about, when you find what you love to do, or you find the relationship that inspires you, what changes is internal. And what changes, as you were saying, is about you start to sort of navigate differently. Because the thing is, and it's kind of what Kellen was talking about, is when you really get into a place of real love inside yourself, which you have when you're in love with somebody else, ideally, and when you have something you're doing, you feel love as well. It's like raising your own vibration, raising your own focus, so you see things more positively, more uplifting, whatever that is. So frankly, it's almost our relationship with ourselves that is the pivot point for what happens out there in the world, and how we have more joy, more fulfillment, more excitement. And oftentimes, like sometimes they're definitely, like I know, like same experience as Kellen, being jobs that you hate doing. And so the thing about not having a positive attitude, not feeling good, not feeling loving, not feeling joyful, life can suck. The traffic sucks, the work sucks, the pay sucks, everything, quote, sucks because you're just doing it for the paycheck. But when you do find the joy in what you're doing, whether it is pet sitting or gratitude or coaching or acting, whatever it is we're doing, we're fulfilled by that. And yes, even in a relationship, which can frankly happen after you're already in love with what you do, because it works both ways, that's when everything changes. And for me, it's that the thermostat, for example, use that analogy. Like when the thermostat is the right temperature, you feel the right place, you feel joyful, you feel happy, you feel uplifted, things around you reflect back to you that way as well. So if you're doing if you're being, I'll switch you this way for a second. If you're being in love with what you do, then what you do will reflect back to you the same love. If you're in love with somebody and you're putting love out, the love will come back the same way. But some people will choose things, relationships, careers, lifestyles, whatever it is, that aren't supporting who they are. So they end up crashing and burning because they're not in a loving space. So, frankly, it's an inside job in that sense.
And I like that.
I was going to say sometimes things have to come full circle too, because I think sometimes, like, you know, like, let's say that family businesses or, you know, or traditions or different things, you start out in life one way and then you end up in different careers, and then all of a sudden you come back to different things. I think sometimes when you're, you know, just like Barry, you said, you know, you become the product of your product, or you become the product of your environment or whatever. Sometimes some people, because they're in a position that they don't realize, they don't appreciate where they're at. Sometimes things have to fall apart to come back together, to be appreciated or to see the value in where they're at. You know, things have to fall apart to come clear back to focus, you know, like, you know, when you were small, probably, Scott, before you know, got into drinking, you know, things, you know, and then you got sober, you know, different things. I mean, you were in good relations and then you were in bad relations. I mean, just different things. And I think sometimes we have to see things from a different perspective or a different lens to revisit and see it in another lens, like, you know, as we all see it. So I'm just trying to take it, switching it in this next half hour, 20 minutes.
That. I also picked up on, you know, it's like when I was talking about Rex earlier, he knew what he wanted to do and he went into it. But you also went into a field, Rex, where just the people I know that have been in entertainment in any way, shape, or form, there's more opportunities to just give up and walk away than any other business. There's difficulties. Doing what you love doesn't mean that there's never difficulties. It means there are difficulties, but it's worth the difficulty to keep doing what you're doing. That's how I read it for me. Is there's days when there would be easier things for me to do. I've been offered easier gigs. I've been offered a lot more money to do certain things. But the difficulties that I suffer through the business that I run now, it's worth it every time to go through those difficulties. And so nobody here had a free ride. I understand that. Even if you do what you love, it's still hard. You still got to pay taxes. You still got to do certain things. You still got to be a responsible adult in a certain way. But it's worth it because you're doing what you love. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there. Go ahead, Rex.
I want to, you know, quite a while ago, I produced a movie, and somebody asked me to produce it with them, and I said, okay. And it was like 4 months on this project on location, and, you know, a bunch of months before that. And when we got to location, I don't think there was a moment that I didn't want to cut and run and fly away and get out of there. It was the nightmare job, you know, from hell, you know, the kind of thing. And every moment of every day I went, I'm living the dream.
Right.
This is what I signed up for. Not always what I want it to be, but I am making a movie, no matter, and it's really tough and it's really challenging, and the director's fighting with everybody, and this is going on, and it is what it is. But this is what I do, you know. I mean, this is my job, but I would not have invited that experience, you know, wanted to give anyone that experience, because it was, you know, you could call it awful, but it was still living the dream. It was still doing what I had set out in my life to do. That said, you know, we talk about changing careers and things like that. You know, that's really a luxury, and people don't realize that. You know, a couple hundred years ago, a couple thousand years ago, you were born a shoemaker and you died a shoemaker. You were born a bread maker and you died a bread maker. I mean, you had one career, you know, or one spouse or whatever, and you lived and died whatever the thing was. And now people have the opportunity, although not everybody thinks of it that way, to change their career many times, you know, in order to find what they want. So if you understand that everything is an opportunity, then it's an opportunity. And hence why I say celebrate everything. But I want to toss it to John, because John is one of these people who's like, pay it forward. You know, I go into work, I put a smile on people's face. I mean, you know, there's an exuberance, there's a there's a giving, there's a compassion, there's an understanding, there's a delight that John brings to what he does and who he is and the work that he does and his team. I've never heard John go, damn it, my team and I today, it's always very, very good about all the kind of wonderful stuff that's going on. So what say you, John?
Well, thanks.
And then we're going to go out to Kellen afterwards.
Right.
Kellen, you want ladies first?
Well, wait, she's got to
go ahead, John.
We got to have her feet up before she talks again.
First of all, after last week, I did get a backlight. Thank you all for noticing because I literally blended in with the paint.
Yay!
I lit it Amazon. Fucking awesome. This showed up, and then I know that you can see the wrinkles. Anyway, so first of all, we're all going to be dog walkers. Second, I'm going to close this by I actually took notes. That's what I did while you were speaking.
Oh.
I know. It's crazy how impressed you are. I kind of got from this, you're successful when people don't know what you've done. When people don't know what you've done and you're giving advice, and you could be, like you were saying, I was top of the charts, now I'm a dog walker. They don't know what you've done. They don't know who they are getting advice from. My advice is to everyone, young, old, listen to everybody because the success people have had, Rex, thank God again, not nude in a movie, but you were in a movie. You could speak to someone in Hollywood. They might not know who you are, but you've had that experience. So people that are out there, keep it your secret what you've done, but pass on that wisdom to other people because you've already lived it.
That's right.
Way to go, John. Woohoo! Woohoo! Okay, Kellen.
I refuse to follow that.
I want to offer you something on top of that, Kellen. You should have your show logo as 2 feet, bottom of the shoe.
Well,
It's like maybe
those days are gone, Rex.
Uh-huh.
Those days are gone.
But I mean, it's so cute. It's so different. It's something you go. My first podcast, I fell over backwards. I bumped my blue screen, and my feet are in the air, and people are hearing me talk. That's something that if you could actually reenact that would be worth.
Oh, I can. I've fallen backwards in this chair many times.
But I mean,
I did have a little.
But what I'm getting at is charming and it's disarming and it says so many different things. Like, you know what? I'm cool enough to put this out there. Because, go ahead.
I'm gonna show you how cool she is here in a minute.
No, is this the wrap up? Because I got confused last time because I spoke 3 times and I used up my wrap up thing on the second thing, and oh my god,
this is how cool she is now, though. Okay, this is how cool she is.
I have hammocking time.
Yeah, there you go.
Every day at 2.
Okay,
is this the wrap up?
Oh no, this is not. We're not quite at the wrap up.
Okay, well, I have something different. I have 2 things. So.
Okay.
No,
go ahead.
We were talking about the balance. I was talking about the balance, the life, the career, being happy. So I think the only reason it worked out for me was because I took the time to determine or to make sure that my values and my goals were in alignment. Because if I wouldn't have aligned my goals, my values with where I wanted to go, I don't think I would be where I was today, where I am today. So that's all I wanted to say about the balance thing. So.
I love it.
And I'll think of something new for the wrap up.
That was a good wrap up. That was good. We're going to use that for your wrap up.
Happy my wrap up.
It's so damn cute. I love it. I love it.
Uh-oh. Trouble.
I love it. There you go.
I'm out of control tonight. I'm sorry.
No, I love it. I love it.
I'm not drunk.
I love you. No, hey, I love you. You're my sister. I love you.
No, we're not at wrap up time yet. We're still in conversation. Anybody wants to start throwing some more out there?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sure,
There's
Barry.
or Paul. Did you have something you want to add?
There's Barry.
He's having a good time right there.
Yeah, I never have a problem following anybody.
There you
or
go.
preceding anyone. But I do want to pass this on. Words matter. And what we think about words matter. I could question everything my whole life. And the thing I've always questioned is that expression, falling in love. Fuck that. Rise in love. Because if you fall in love, where do you go from there? Do you keep falling or then do you eventually rise, which means what was the problem? If you rise in love, you keep rising and keep rising, like a stream. It takes in everything, becomes a river, right? You know, rise in love.
Can
That's
Barry
all.
use that? I love that.
I've already used that. Excuse me. Paul's been reading my stuff apparently because I said that. Let me just fine. It's not copyright. It's not copywritten anyway. So, you know, the thing about it, I underscore that one is when people say they want to find someone and settle down. Excuse me? Want to go down? No.
No.
Well, it also works for an ED commercial.
Yeah.
Where are we going with this?
I mean, it's funny, but it's true. I mean, every single thing in art, design, and architecture and rituals celebrates life and the receiving.
I think
and the
Scott's
giving.
lost on the conversation, but that's okay. I guess there is replay that you could have later, Scott.
But it would make a great commercial, Rex. You know, it's like, oh, I fell in love with him. Oh, I fell in love with her. You did. No. Instead, rise in love.
Oh, Eric got it all right. He got, whoa.
I guess I just keep meeting the wrong women because
I guess I'm going to make some shark clips out of that one.
Here we go with that, Scott.
I'm just waiting to meet the next woman who likes to walk on the ground I worship. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Oh my God.
Sandy, you've been quiet for a little while. What's going on with you?
You don't want me to add to any of that. Well, I had a first date the other night.
I think we need to balance some of this out a little bit.
Well, I have shows about relationships and dating. Actually, Barry was on my wherever he is, somewhere around there. I'm gonna have another one, and you guys brought up this rising thing. Anyway, I had a first date the other day, and he had to tell me in the first date that he could, and I was like, I don't know if that's first date material, but anyway. Like, what?
Oh, I could tell you horror stories.
Wait a second. Did you say he's like the little engine that could? He told you I can do this on my first date? Hi. Guess what? I can. Is that what you're saying? I can perform on my first date?
I think
we need to put Barry in the middle. It just looks good.
I have nothing to say on this.
Oh, Paul's back. I thought he just fell off.
That's okay. My browser just decided to update itself.
I thought he fell out of his chair, but anyways.
I did want to add something about our topic, though.
Yes, please.
Okay. So, and like our topic.
Yeah.
So, I found that in my hobbies is where I found my most joy, and that's why I tried to make them my professions. Like the things that I enjoyed in my downtime, and it was because of the pressure that I didn't have. Like I didn't have the same pressure in climbing a career ladder in my hobbies, and I found that that's where you find where you fit. I mean, I feel like that's where you find yourself, in that downtime. And I we hear a lot of entrepreneurs. That's how they become successful is they give up whatever they were doing and they shift over into what they were loving to do on their downtime. And I think that's important that we find those things that we like to do. Mm-hmm. And that's where we'll find the joy. That's where we'll find the career that we want. And I don't think we're too old to ever start it. I think we always can. And I agree with that. We are always evolving. So of course our likes and dislikes are evolving along with our careers. And, it's not too late. I mean, look at all the entrepreneurs that were not successful till they were in their 70s. I mean, it's not too late. So if you're not loving what you do right now, you need to decide what is it I love to do in my downtime. And that's what I used to do with my career pathing with some employees that I had is just trying to make them fit. It's a puzzle piece, where do you fit? Where do you want to fit? So go for it.
Sandy, it's so funny because it's like you spend the beginning of your life you spend as a child where you're living your dreams because that's all you have is what you think and you do. And then we become adults, and then it takes us a lifetime to get back to that child and do what we love and do what we think. And so it's like there's that big piece in the middle that's just kind of like, we're spinning wheels trying to get back to what we really were.
But that's where we get the training.
Part.
That's where we get the training.
None of it is wasted effort. None of it is wasted.
Well,
right.
I'm just saying the whole journey, it goes back to you start as the pure being of who you are. And that's kind of where you want to end up at the end. It's kind of neat. It's always fun, though. The journey's great. I love the journey.
Yeah. We're almost running out of time. So if you want to really wrap up stuff, babe.
I think now is the time for wrap-ups. Yeah. We got enough time. We got enough time for everybody but Kellen.
I'm ready.
You get to go first.
Okay. I'm just going to reiterate that when you're doing what you love, to take the time that is necessary. Don't rush into it. Really take some good time to do some soul searching, determine what you want to do. I think it's also important that I didn't mention earlier is you have to trust your intuition, because I didn't trust mine for a very long time. And by trusting it, this is where I am today. And then just to remember to make sure that your goals and your values are in alignment, because that is just a pathway to success.
Yay. I love you, Kellen. Thank you so much for being here. Love you so much. Love you so much. I'm going to just go to Barry next.
Oh, me again.
Yes, wrap up.
Yeah, wrap up.
This is the wrap up.
Being the imperative word tonight.
It is? Oh, okay. All right. Couple of things.
30 seconds.
This is why we didn't include you in the wrap up.
25.
You want to take over?
Oh, wait.
I love you, Kellen.
So a couple of things. One of which is a lot of people go through a midlife crisis because they never did find what they're looking for, what they really want to do. And the thing about doing what you love and you love what you do, or love what you do and then you're doing what you love, to switch it around, is that some people get so. You okay there, Sandy? My puppies.
Excuse you.
It's the thing is that for most people, they're so caught up in the pursuit of whatever that thing is. They're looking for the golden apple or the prize, trying to do the right thing, try and navigate where they're looking for it. I said earlier about when it starts from inside. If you notice what it is that lights you up, and it was already talked about by other people in the room, if you notice what lights you up in any sort of form, and see where that works in a career, or a job, or a vocation, because you might discover your favorite thing is to be outside. Well, maybe your work needs to be a park ranger versus being in an office. Maybe your passion is to be playing with dogs, so you become a professional dog sitter. It's like finding what it is that you love first, key thing first, then can give you some direction and clarity, and also finding what resonates with that. Because most people have unfortunately been driven from the outside in, like saying, well, I'll try that job, or try this job, and they're not finding fulfillment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like John was saying, bringing the joy into what you do and making your joy your passion in your work. But part also starts with what do you love about the thing you want to do most, and see where that fits in the world. Mm-hmm. So that's your homework.
Hey Barry, you know how I ask people to find out? It's this question I've been asking for decades, because it's a question you can ask when you hire someone. It is completely legal, and maybe some of you heard me say this. It's a simple thing. Imagine you have 2 weeks left to live, perfect health to the end, but you now have all the money in the world. How will you spend those last 2 weeks, and how will you spend that money? And depending how quickly, and definitely someone can answer it, they know what they want to be and do. And the ones who don't, we'll get people who'll give you these vague things about, I want to be with my kids, my family. Oh, all right. But, sometimes you get jewels in that of something that disconnects from what they've been doing, but something you always wanted to do. And I always tell people, when you find out what you really want to do, no matter where you are or what you are, there's always a way to do it on some level, in some quality, right where you are.
Nice.
Love it.
Nice.
Thank you, Paul.
John, I got to tell you, the new light, you look 40 years younger than you did the last show.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's like
you look damn like a movie star.
It's biblical. Let there be light.
Yes.
You're
going to be a movie star like Rex.
I'm going to star in Rex's movie, and Anyway, point being, in the sales business, I'll keep this quick. Do not get down on yourself if you're bored. It is cyclical. It is the worst thing to get in your head that you're not going to succeed. You need to keep it up. You want to see a good story? Google goddamn Colonel Sanders. That guy was amazing. Do you know Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan, yes.
Michael Jordan missed more shots than he made. So the point is, whether you're running a team or if you're with yourself, you need someone to back you up. You don't want to get in that thing in your head that, shit, I didn't make a sale today. No one needs a mortgage. Rates are high. There's no inventory. Bullshit. Things are good. Surround yourself with great people like Lynn and Scott and friends. That's what you need to do. You need people to support yourself. You're going to be Michael Jordan. You're going to be, I'm telling you, if you haven't Googled goddamn Colonel Sanders, that's actually his real name. Google him. Because it's absolutely
that one word.
Let me know what you come up with.
Finger licking good.
That's a whole different story, Lynn. That goes back to Rex's story, but we're not going there tonight. So that being said,
and Kellen loves berry on top. Okay.
Okay.
I think it's right. KFC. It should be
Private.
John, when Barry makes
sorry.
the sequel, when Rex makes the sequel, Massacre at Senior Living Facility, he'll give you a call.
I'm waiting, man.
That's actually a good idea.
I'm going to bring my ring light so you see every single wrinkle all over.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you're the best, John. You're the best.
Oh, I can't handle this.
Oh my gosh. This is the best. Tuesday night is the reality showcase here, right?
That's right.
Certainly is. Okay. And so
who else has got to do wrap up?
Mr. Rex, the one and only.
Did Sandy go yet?
Wait, no, I'm sorry, Sandy. I'm sorry, Sandy. Sis, why would you let me do that? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm okay being part of the Brady Bunch.
No.
It's fine. So I feel like we're in the Brady Bunch or the Partridge Family. Which one? Brady Bunch or
Brady Bunch?
Brady Bunch.
It's more like Hollywood Squares.
Yeah, there you go.
Hollywood Squares. Yes. So just off of what I was saying earlier, the best training we have is like not when we're at the top of whatever we're doing. It's in the training. It's in the valley. So to get to the mountaintop, you have to have the training in the valley. So wherever you're at, if you don't love what you're doing, if you're not loving it, just know that you're in training for where you're going. Don't get stuck there. Don't go, it's just never gonna, because this is where you're training at. This is how you're going to get to whatever mountaintop that is. Even if that means the mountaintop is just peace and like retirement and like putting your feet up or, falling over in a chair, Kellen, putting your feet up in a hammock, right? Like that could be your mountaintop. Your mountaintop might be peace and love.
I love that.
Yourself.
I love that.
And that's it. It
you
doesn't
guys
have to be attaining, the top, role of anything, but the top role of your own life and in your own peace and your own heart. So that's how
Thank you, Sandy.
We almost missed out on that, Sandy. I love you so much, sister. That was worth hearing.
I would have reeled you in.
Yeah, thank you.
Good shave, Lynn. Good shave.
I did.
You got Sandy there.
Oh, man. I love you. Love you guys.
That was great, Sandy. So let me start by saying what should be said, that if you've stumbled onto the show or you're a regular viewer of the show, share the show if you're enjoying the show. This is true every single week, every single day, every single time you come across it. If you watch it, if you've gotten something from it, be sure to share it. We know medically, we know neurologically, psychologically, physically, that if you're optimistic and you have a positive attitude, you feel better, you look better, you think better, you take advantage of opportunities and see possibilities that you otherwise would not see, and are far more resourceful in every single way that you could be as a human being. And yet some people will say, toxic positivity, and I don't, and I'm like, well, what's the alternative to being positive? Whining and complaining and bitching and moaning and, and living your life negative and crap and being frustrated and angry and sad and depressed and all that. Well, go right ahead. But the thing is this. You also have to pay attention to who you get advice from and who you listen to. There are people out there who will say, "Oh yeah, toxic, positivity." Right? There are people who out there who will say, "Follow your dreams, do what you love, and the money will follow." And then there are those people who say, "If you love it, don't make it a business because you'll hate it."
Mm.
Making money on it and struggling is going to destroy your love for it. Well, now think about who says what. Person who goes, follow your dreams, maybe they're following their dreams and they're loving it. They've gone through whatever hardship, whatever difficulty, but they still say, do what is best and true for you. The other person says, don't do what you love, save it as a hobby. Don't do it because you're going to hate it. And I go, what kind of experiences do they have that would lead them to say that? What kind of advice is that? Because everybody has opinions, and the key is to not by the opinions of other people, but to fall into your own truth and your own self and your own decisions and your own path, and then make that decision from there, and then just enjoy the journey all along the way, no matter what you decide. And with that, I'm
beautiful.
Rex,
beautiful.
We are so
I'm
blessed
glad
to
I don't have to follow that.
I know, Rex. We're so blessed that you're here. Love you and appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, we're blessed, right, Scott?
We are completely blessed. And the only thing I could think of to end this thing is to really one of my favorite actors of all time, Vincent Gardenia, in the movie Moonstruck, had the greatest line ever when Cher showed him the pinky ring she was wearing for an engagement ring, and she says it's temporary. And this line was the greatest line ever in film. Everything is temporary. That don't excuse nothing. Everything is temporary, people. There's no excuse. Go do what makes you happy. Go out and build your life. Stop waiting. Everything's temporary.
That's right. God bless you all. And don't forget to go to get that Blu-ray Rex's movie there. So love you guys.
Keeping me safe and sound.